The Rams overcame a slow start to defeat the Houston Texans at 33-7. They improved to 7-2 this season. Bill Plaschke, Gary Klein. I'm Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. Bill took a little hiatus from visiting us here covering the LA Rams. I think you were at Dodgers or something, but I think he came back to realize that this is no longer the 2016 Rams. These guys have definitely turned the page, Bill.
Well, yeah, this is my third game this season, and wow, what a difference a month makes. When I left them last, they were struggling offensively. They looked like they were mediocre. This is a playoff team. They blew me away today. They were struggling in the first half. They're barely at where they had 9-7. Then second half, boom, they got golf to Woods, and then boom, golf to Watkins, and golf to Woods, a 94-yard pass to Woods, 53 yards in the air. The fans are going crazy. They're as loud today as I've heard them at Dodger Stadium over the last month. There weren't as many, but they were just as loud. It was in nuts, and I think these Rams really opened my eyes today. This is a playoff team. This is a fun team. This is a team LA can really, really embrace. We've been talking about this for a year and a half. This is the team that LA can love.
It didn't look like that was how it was going to go. In the first half, it looked very much like 2016. 9-7, the Rams led going into halftime, Gary, until a third-quarter eruption from the offense. Andrew Whitworth said after the game that adversity was probably a good thing for an offense that really hasn't seen too much adversity, but they definitely came out there in the third quarter.
Well, if this is a Rams team that is legitimately going to make a run to the playoffs, and it looks like they are going to have to face some adversity. It's not going to be as easy as it was against the Cardinals or the Giants. So in a way, that's a good thing. But as it was happening, it didn't look so good. But Sean McVay showed the ability to make some adjustments. Jared Goff continues to ascend, just like he did last week against the Giants. He steps back and lofts a very long pass down the field, this time to Robert Woods, and that turns the tide. So if the Rams offense can continue to perform and that defense keeps getting turnovers, they're in good shape.
That 90. Are you going to write that very long? You got a bunch of E's in there, very
No, that's
long.
a lot of R's, Bill. That 90. That 94-yard play to Robert Woods. Okay. It was the longest play of his career in college, the NFL. He thinks maybe even going back to Sarah. Bill, you watched Robert after that touchdown. He jumped over the rail.
So Robert Woods does what
not quite a Lambeau leap.
Known as the Lambeau leap. He does it here at the Coliseum, but those are field suites. Those are people with drinks and cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, and I think they were rather surprised to see a football player jumping into their cocktail party. And so the next time, he didn't do it. He just gave him a ball and got out of there. He told me afterward he just wanted to change it up, do the same thing twice. But I could tell the fans were very surprised. Everybody's going to be surprised when they come out and see this team.
Gary, we tend to focus on the offense, but the defense, 4 turnovers, 3 of which resulted in points. Aaron Darnold, Samson Ebukam, those guys were really relentless getting after Tom Savage. And I think the defense actually sparked the offense because the offense came out so flat. You had the sense that the defense was going to have to do something to provide some energy.
Well, definitely. This is the second week in a row Aaron Donald on the first series has a strip sack that gives the Rams field position. Today, they'd only converted it into a field goal that first time. 3 Greg Zuerlein field goals in the first half. But you mentioned Ebukam caused a fumble. Mark Barron with an interception. All of those plays helped the offense get going. And without that defense, we may not be sitting here talking so confidently about the Rams making a run.
So Gary and I, we can be here every day. We can cover every game. We go on the road for a month, and, you know, a lot of people talk to us. But we're not Bill Plaschke. We don't just show up in the locker room and have the owner walk up and say, "What's up, Bill?" and offer some thoughts. Bill, I know you're VIP. What did Stan Kroenke have to say to you?
He was very talkative. Calling him talkative Stan. He was great.
Silent Stan.
No, he was very excited. He talked about how the players, he loved to see them feed off each other, exult in each other. He felt the crowd really was into it. He felt like this was I asked him if this happened faster than what he thought, but they said no. When they hired Sean McVay, when they hired Wade Phillips, they thought something like this could happen, and he was ecstatic. And I think that a lot of LA can feed off what we're seeing here. This is an LA kind of team, right? They're entertaining, they're fun, they're great quotes in the locker room, which they weren't at all last year.
Right.
So
winning solves a lot of that problem.
Well, Todd Gurley's like Jerry Seinfeld, right? I mean, he's really funny now, right?
Todd Gurley, I was talking to a couple of players when Todd was talking, and I tend to look over and Todd's still talking, He's averaging more yards. He's averaging a longer press conference. Gary, 7-2. Is this a playoff team?
Well, it's definitely a playoff team. Now the question is, I think...
Is it definitely?
It's definitely a playoff team. I mean, even though they've got a tough stretch of the schedule coming, at 7-2, you know, if they win 2 or 3 more games, That's a 10-win season, even against these tough opponents. I think the question now is, can they hold on and win the division and get a home playoff game? As Bill has said, that's going to be the real demarcation point for this franchise.
Bill, I'm going to say you're a bold man. You make bold predictions. You like to boldly interrupt me a lot.
Yes.
What are you going to say for this Rams team? How far will they go?
Well, 90% of teams that are 7-2 make the playoffs. Actually, I just made that up.
You just made that up?
I made it up, yeah. But it sounds right. Does it sound right? Does it sound about right?
I knew you made that up.
You did made it up. It sounds right, though. And I'm sure it's something like that. But like Gary said, a home playoff game would change the whole dynamic here. That's what would make the Rams return here kind of official. Because I guarantee this place will be full. A nation will see a full stadium. The Rams will see the love of the fans. They need to get a home playoff game. But at this point, any playoff game is great. But home playoff game would be a turning point.
You like how that goal line keeps moving. We thought the Rams returning to L.A. was the return, getting their first win, a winning season. Now you've got to get that home playoff game. All right, that's going to do it for us from the Coliseum. With Bill, I'm Lindsay, and Bill and Gary. We're all struggling today. I'm Lindsay for the LA Times.